Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Welcome back to episode
Four.
4. Welcome back to episode 4 of the Two Mums Club. It's been a little while again.
Yeah, and we actually did plan to video this one, but it's absolutely roasting hot in the conservatory, so there's not a chance we can even set the camera up in there because you can't even breathe. So
Yeah,
just another audio one today.
it's singeing my lungs when I sit in there.
Singeing my hair.
I did try and go and sit in there for about 30 seconds. I thought there's no way I'm going to last for at least half an hour in this room.
Yeah, and to be fair, the camera wasn't charged anyway, so
Yeah.
guilty.
So, how are you?
Good. I only got back yesterday. I've been away to Madrid, haven't I, all weekend? So it's been hard being back and not being able to fill you in on everything and me not being able to hear everything about your weekend. So I am dying to hear how it's all gone.
Yeah.
But
Tell
yeah,
me
I can't believe that the weather is literally like how it is in Madrid. It is so hot, but obviously because it's all buildings and stuff like that, it does feel hotter there.
Yeah.
But still, obviously, being in the UK, it's getting warmer now, isn't it?
It felt hotter than this.
It was more humid, like it was like static hot, and I can't really explain it. There was no air or breeze or anything. Like every restaurant, every cafe had like fans blowing the water on you to literally cool you down. So that was a godsend. And then we went on a tuk-tuk, and that breeze helped as well. But everywhere else, it was just still heat. It was so
humid,
hot. Yeah,
thick,
so humid. So we was just getting cold beers at every single opportunity because that was a really good help. But
making the most of it, girl.
yeah. It was
Tell me about your holiday then.
Oh, it was really nice. So when did we go? So Thursday. Was it Thursday I went to Mum's?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that evening we went and got our nails done. And bless her, she put me in for a gel, but I usually go for acrylics. So I messaged her and was like, "Oh, can I have acrylics instead?" But I couldn't figure out what I wanted, so I just looked on their Facebook and just saw a design that they did.
Okay.
So I already knew, but it had so it's basically like a ombre French manicure with a little bit of what is it, like glitter?
Like a silver foil.
Silver leaf, yeah. But it was gold on the picture and it had like gems on it, and I was like, I don't want all that shebang. I just want a little bit of this. Guess how much these nails cost? My mum, bless her heart.
Oh, stock was really expensive.
Yes, so bearing in mind the gels were 25, so she was expecting to pay 25. We got to the till. Guess how much these cost?
So I would say for a higher end type acrylic nail around here, 35, 40.
£44. I think it's because they're ombre as well, though. I think that's where the price went up. And then I had my toes done.
That shouldn't make a difference though, because all they do is use a clear tip instead of a white tip.
But maybe that's a normal price, because I never had my nails done ever.
Yeah,
so
she lives in a village.
Yeah, but I said to Mum, the last time I actually had my toes done gel was our wedding, which was how long ago?
Yeah,
a long time ago. Because I don't ever have gels. She was like, sit down, you get a massage in the chair, you got to have your nails done. But I was thinking that she meant that one of the Chinese workers are going to give me a massage in the chair. But it's not. It was like one of the actual chair massage ones.
Oh.
So I was getting really nervous thinking, oh God, I don't really know if I want that. Like, all I can envision was you in Thailand having that woman standing on your back massaging you. But really, it was actually quite relaxing. It was quite nice. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so how was Thursday night for you? Let's do it day by day. So your mum got here on Thursday, did she?
Yeah, so after you left late morning, I drove to the train station and picked her up. Obviously we had a little list off school, so she came with me in the car, picked her up, came back here. By the time I was back here, I think we had time for like a cop around and went and got the girls.
Oh, it was England match on Thursday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then, I can't really remember what we did, if I'm completely honest. I think we came back and watched
the match kicked off at 5. Yeah, so it was early.
We had like a little England party. We all had face paints on.
Oh, it's so cute. I love the pictures. It's so cute.
Yeah, it was cute. They all had like little, like a gingerbread round biscuit that was icing with that looked like a football on it.
Love that. You go all out for football.
Yeah, all went out. All had their England kits on. I had my England kit on. They did make your own pizza. And I bought these little football plates. So yeah, it was just a chilled evening at home, and it was nice. But Mum's so she went to the dentist last week to have another third tooth out, and they had to take the top of the tooth off to try and get to the root, because the root is like, they thought it was twisted, and when they've tried to do that, they've opened the nerve, but then couldn't get the tooth out. So now the half of her tooth is stuck in her mouth, and she's been referred to hospital to have the rest of the tooth out. So bless her, she was in really bad pain all weekend.
Really?
So we couldn't have a drink.
I couldn't believe when I came home, but both bottles of Prosecco were still on the side. I was thinking, am I the bad influence?
Yes.
Because when I'm around, we get through 2 an hour. And then it's just been you and her this weekend, and both the bottles are still there.
Yeah, but she knows I'm not a big drinker, so if she's going to open a bottle, she's going to probably drink 2/3 of that bottle, and I'm only going to drink
That's
one.
why I don't really drink Prosecco with you, because I know it's going to be a waste.
Uh-huh.
That bottle of wine's still on the side because I opened it. That's going to have to go now.
I drank it. Yeah. Have to pour that away. Yeah, so bless her. So she had toothache. So then it was a pretty early night on Thursday night because she was tired from travelling.
The kids are back in school the next day, weren't they? So
we started rewatching House of Dragon. So I'm rewatching the first series. I've already seen the first episode of the second series, but I honestly completely forgot what was going on. So I was like, I'm going to rewatch the first series as well because I've got no idea. And there must have been things in there, like subtle hints towards the first series. And could I tell you what was even going on? I couldn't remember any of the characters. Didn't know who anybody was.
Yeah, that's why I think it's better sometimes where you go back and watch them.
Yeah, it starts with, spoiler alert for anybody that's not seen it yet, turn the volume down for the next 30 seconds. It starts with her son. Obviously, it ends with her other son.
Right.
So I'm trying not to say too much. And it starts with her other son at the beginning of the second series. I had no idea who that was. I couldn't remember him.
What is he, older now, or?
No, it's still the same. So they're trying to gather an army across the lands, because obviously the whole point of the storyline is that she's in the battle because she was named heir, and the younger brother, who was the dad's wife, her best friend, if you remember from the first series, it was her younger brother stole the throne because he's the firstborn male, so he thinks he's got birthright where she was named heir, so they're both battling over who takes the throne. So she's trying to get the armies. I couldn't remember any of that storyline at all. So then I had to go back, and I mean, I'm watching it thinking, I don't know what's going on. Not a clue what's going on. So then I went back, and after one episode, I was like, all clicked into place.
Yeah, and I bet now that you're watching it, you'll be like, oh, and it'll be like really.
So I need to rewatch it now, because when I was watching it, it was like I was watching something in Spanish.
Yes,
I did not know what was happening. Yeah.
Some people are really into it though, aren't they?
Well, I messaged Tash, for anyone listening, Tash is Becky's sister. I messaged her and I was like, that was like the worst first episode of a new series. And she was like, no spoilers, I'm rewatching. And then when she watched it, she messaged like, what are you on about? That was so good. And I was like, I need to rewatch first series because I didn't understand it. Because as soon as I'm watching the first series now, I'm loving it again. And I'm like, oh gosh, I forgot how good this was.
Yeah. So then Friday, we got up at 4 a.m. and had to go to the airport. That was the most stressful experience I've ever had in a flipping airport, honest to God.
What, because of your mum or because of the airport?
Because of my mum. Bloody hell, Jill. So, you know what she's like with the lotions and potions? She has a suitcase full of lotions and potions every time she comes in.
Yeah.
So she knows that you have to put 100 millilitres in plastic.
Well, yeah, bags. You had a whole conversation about that beforehand.
She knew that we needed one per person, but I have never had more than one. I don't think I've ever had more than one because everything's just fit in one. But I didn't think there was that strict on it where you would have to have one per person. I thought maybe they'd let you off having two or something. We had this absolute Karen and she was not having any of it. Like, I thought, at 4 a.m, love, come on, like, soften up a bit. She spotted me and Mum straight at it. So Mum's there getting all lotions, potions out. She had two, I had one. I don't think she could even fit them into, like, they wouldn't seal. And she was like, no, they have to seal. And I was like, but my High Smile toothpaste was too tall for the bag. And I was like, but how it's 100 mil. I said, but it's not fitting in. I said, so what do I need to do? Surely you're not going to make me chuck it because it's 100 mil. She was like, no, you need to seal it. So I'd take everything out and then do it like horizontal and stack them. But they weren't having any of it, Mum. So I said, right, Mum, you give me some of these, because I was thinking, worst case scenario, I'd have to chuck like the shampoo and conditioner or the hairspray,
the cheap like stuff.
Yeah. But she had like the sun cream, but she had all of her like Charlotte Tilbury, Elizabeth Arden, like really expensive stuff. But she also had her medication for her eyes because she's got blepharitis, so she prescribed like drops and stuff, I think. And we was like, no, it's medication to the woman. She was like, put it all in the bag. It all needs to go in the bag. And she was like, the deodorant needs to go in there, but the deodorant was a stick. It wasn't like a roll-on. It was like, you know, those bars of like soap. It was like that. I was like, sure, you don't need to put that in there because that was big. And she was like, no, everything needs to go in there. So we're there faffing around. But half an hour was out. My mum was like, every stranger that comes past, excuse me, have you got any liquids? Can I just shove this in your tray? She was like, excuse me, ma'am, I know what you're doing. She was like, I've got a good idea, right? You put yours on there and I'm going to put mine back in my bag. Like, Mum, that's not going to work. It's got to go through the x-ray machine. They're going to detect it in your bag. And it was stressing me out because she wasn't listening, because she was adamant that she's going to find a way to sneak it through. In the end, there's this guy next to us, like, obviously embarrassed. Mine's for Benji. And she was like, oh, can I put it in yours? And he's there like, what are you doing? Like, what are you getting me into it? So she shoved it in his and he went through. And at the end, she's like, I need to find the man with the straw hat. And he's standing behind us, laughing his head off. Like, look at these surveyors. She's like, oh, there you are. And he's there like, oh, God, you two. And then, lo and behold, a bag gets pulled over to the side.
Oh, no.
So we have to go through to the other end. And then this guy was lovely. He was like, no, that's medication. Let me see your passport. Let me see it matches. That doesn't need to be in there. That's a deodorant stick. That doesn't need to be in there. I said, I'm not being funny, but the communication here said, she's just stopped us for half an hour. And now you're saying it's absolutely fine. I was like, oh. So it was stressful, but we got through eventually. So then that was all fine. And then I wanted to get you some perfume from the duty free. But because we only had our hand luggage, I couldn't buy, like, obviously 100ml wouldn't have got more than that anyway, but I would have had to open all the gift packaging, put it in that cellophane bags, and then that was another experience. Didn't get that from there. And then we got on the flight, and then I got a Prosecco, Mum got a beer, and I was going to pay for it on the Monzo card because I didn't want to use the euros. And then I got to Madrid, I went to go use Monzo card, and it declined on the airport, so we got two free drinks on the aeroplane.
Was it Ryanair?
Yeah.
That happened to us, but it declined, it shows us declined, and about a week later it came out.
Oh, really?
So check it again now, see if it's come out. It happened to all of us on the way when we went away for my nan's birthday. We all got there, but we'd all been like obviously drinking on the big family holiday, and we got there and I was like, God, I spent about 100 quid because Marley was putting all these drinks on my card. And when we got there,
it does have an overdraft on there, which is good because I'm not sure you noticed, but I was over by like £2.5, so I quickly transferred that back over, but I haven't checked it since then because we haven't used it. But God, that was literally just at the beginning, so yeah.
Bloody heck. Well, on the Friday, again, we had Lenny off school, so me, Mum and her went shopping. What did we even get? Mum got them all some new shoes. I got them all the clothes that I showed you yesterday, so we got the little two-piece from River Island, got them quite a few bits from H&M for holiday for the evenings, just like light throw on stuff in case of sunburn or whatever. And then we went for lunch at the place that does the pancakes.
Bills?
No. The one that's I can't think what it's called. But we both wanted the soup and sandwich, so we knew they did like a lunchtime deal there. So we went in to have the sandwich, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get a tuna melt, and it'll be like a vegetable soup or something. It was a...
I'm sorry, what? You got a tuna sandwich with a soup?
No. Right. So I wanted tuna sandwich, but I was like, if it's tomato soup or something, it'd be nice to dip. Did I have that?
No! You'd get like a cheese and tomato melt or panini or something. You wouldn't get a tuna mayo.
Why? Have you ever tried it?
No.
It's like having tuna mayo with beans on a jacket. I don't have the beans on top, I have the beans on the side, obviously, because I don't like them touching. But that's nice. It tastes good. Anyway, so we went in there and I was like, what is a soup? The soup was curried chickpea soup. No. I was like, what? That is your soup of the day? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, that can't be a popular choice.
No.
And yeah, so I was like, no, I'm not having that. So I just had a tuna melt. Then he had a milkshake. And then I can't actually remember what else we did. We went into a few different shops. My mum wanted to get some wrapping paper. We went into Primark. Lenny chose a new swimming costume.
Cute.
I got Mila a new set for acro that she's not going to need now. So yeah, it was just like a little shopping. It was lovely, but we both had a cocktail and we both felt really funny after it. So I don't know whether it was like...
Was you outside in the sun?
We was outside, not in the sun.
Oh.
And it wasn't as hot as it is now. It was maybe 20 degrees. Like, it was breezy. It was near the water. And afterwards I felt really tired. And my mum went really lightheaded. And then was vomiting all night because we went to see the show.
Oh, cool.
The Showstoppers. Yeah. And she couldn't stop being sick.
Maybe there is a sickness bug going around, you know.
There is a sickness bug.
My dad hasn't been well, was he?
Yeah.
So I didn't think he'd be able to babysit that day.
Well, I messaged him that day and he said he was all right. He hadn't been sick in a couple of days. He was just quite tired. So your dad came round, we went to the show, and I had to stop twice on the way there and pull over at the side of the road so she could be sick. At one point she was like, she was like a driving instructor. When it's safe to do so, just pull over on the left. And I went, what? I looked at her and she'd gone pale, so I just pulled into like a lay-by, and like it wasn't even a proper lay-by. I actually think it was like an exit. It was like you kind of coming in to go off. So I pulled in there, just put my hazards on, and she opened the door, and I mean the door was an inch
minuscule.
open, and she was already projected, and it was bad.
So similar, honestly.
I know, it was really bad. I felt really sorry for her, to the point that when we got there, I was like, let's just go home. Like, it isn't worth it for this. Yeah, I was like, we'll just email them. We'll say that you're not well. Can we change for a
just
different
take
show?
a picture of the sit.
Yeah,
we're on
she
our
was
way.
like green though. It's not even. It's not even like
no.
she just like, oh gosh, I don't feel well. She honestly went like really, really pale, and I
God.
felt awful for her. I was like, I'm not going to make you sit through a show now. However, the show was really good.
Did she feel better after she was sick though? Did she laugh?
No.
The whole time she felt ill?
She felt ill, and then we sat down, and this woman had Decadence perfume on, and she'd worn like an entire bottle. Even I don't like strong smells, but I like Decadence. I know. That's the one in the little green handbag, isn't it? I like Decadence. Yeah. She had so much of it on, and you couldn't breathe because it was so thick. And my mum was directly next to her.
Oh, no.
But then I said to my mum, do you want to swap places with me? But I was like the centre seat, so she was one closer to the edge. I was like, well, it doesn't matter if you need to climb over me. That's not a big deal. She's like, no, it's fine. So she was wafting like the programme in front of her face. But yeah, the show was really good. We got there, and it's down 2 flights of stairs because we were stalls. We had really good seats, row B, but there was like AA, BB, CC, DD, AB. So it was about 6 rows back, really good seats. And when we arrived, there was this guy there, and he had some kind of special need. He was limping. He had it was like a physical disability, but he also had a speech difficulty as well. And I think he possibly could have been autistic or maybe just a bit posh. But it came across as like Asperger's type autism. Very helpful. Like, he was a really nice guy. He worked there.
Oh, right, okay.
Really, really nice guy. But he came over to us, so we've gone to that, and he's come towards us. And because of his disability, he had like a bit of a limp. So he's come limping towards us, and I've seen him out the corner of my eye, and I thought somebody was lunging at me. So I've jumped. My mum went, oh, you're all right? And he went, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, I'm really sorry. I said, oh, I'm quite a jumpy person. But I genuinely thought he was jumping towards me. So the poor guy, he looked mortified. I was like, oh, for God's sake, I've done it again. so then I was like, are you all right? And then he stood there and he was like, yeah, just to let you know, the doors will open at 7:30. I'll show you to your seats then. And it's a 50-minute first half, then a 20-minute interval, and a 50-minute second half. And I was like, okay, yeah, great. Thanks for letting us know. So you can buy your drinks now. And then if you want to order them now for the half time, you can. But like, acting as if like we'd never been to the theatre before, like telling us every bit of detail, which is what makes me think it was like an Asperger's type autism tendency, because he was giving us every little snippet of information. I was like, okay, thank you, that's really helpful. And then I've turned around and to look back at my mum to the bar. So he was on my left, then there was me, then there was my mum facing the bar. So then I've turned my body away from him as if to be like, okay, like, we understand. And because I didn't want to like go away now, obviously I wasn't going to be impolite, but also he was just chatting on. So I turned to mum and I was like, okay, what would you like to drink then? And he came around me and popped in between me and my mum and went, just so you know. And I went, yeah. He went, no mobile phones. And I went, okay, no problem. And then he paused.
It's always you and your mum get in trouble being on your phone.
And he paused and went, no mobile phones. I said it again, like a really long pause like that.
Was one of you on your phone?
None of us were on our phone. We stood at the bar, so it was a long, awkward pause like that. And I was like, oh, thank you, yes, I heard you. And then he looked at my mum again and stared at her, and almost like when you're being naughty in school and your teacher gives you the glare from across the class, and did that look at my mum, paused again, then did it to me, and then paused again, and went, understood? No mobile phones. And then walked off. And we was like, okay. It was the weirdest interaction that I've ever had at a theatre. So strange.
Was he part of the
well,
play?
We said that. I said to Mum, I said, is he one of the cast members?
Yeah.
Is he trying to get... But he wasn't. He just worked there.
Mm.
Yeah, I know. Odd.
Because wasn't it adult participation, audience participation or something? The play.
The play, yeah.
The show, sorry.
Yeah, I'll talk you through how that works. So it was really good. We're there. We've ordered our drinks. Mum's been sick the whole way there, so she's just ordered a bottle of water. So then I didn't want to drink solo on my own because I was driving, so I could only have one anyway. So I got an iron brew. So then he came over again and asked something about if I wanted a plastic cup. And I was like, no, thank you. And he's like, but we do straws. And I was like, no, thank you, it's fine. And he's gone away, and we are the only people in this room. I mean, we're the first people to arrive. So there's us and about 5 staff members all stood around in like all black theatre type uniforms. And I'm looking around to Mum. I said, if nobody turns up, we're going on. I said, I'm not sitting in that audience when you don't feel well and it's audience participation. I was like, no way, especially when we're right at the front. And I'm not joking when I say those doors opened at 7:30 and people started arriving at 28 minutes past. And it wasn't full. Like, I'd say the 2 rows in front of us were full. There was people on the front row, but then there was 3 rows in between with nobody on them. And then behind us, it was about half full. and then there was 7 people in the circle, and nobody in the grand circle.
Wow.
It was like less than a half full theatre. But considering like the people were participating, and there was these 2 ladies sat on like the left of the stage in like the wheelchair area, and both in wheelchairs, and they had a carer with them, and one of them was loving the participation but kept shouting out over them, and she kept repeating the whole way through, I was born in December. I was born on December the 2nd, and just kept saying it. So at one point they just wrote that into the script, and they just started saying, and then there was a baby born on December the 2nd. And then one of the other cast members would go, wah, wah. Like,
what, they literally improv made it on
the whole thing was improv. So it starts with the guy on the stage, and I won't give spoilers because, well, you can't because every play's different. Starts with the guy on the stage, and the phone rings, and he picks up the phone, and it's his director asking him, there's been an emergency, none of the cast can turn up, and he needs to get new cast in and write a play. And he's like, okay, I've got an audience in front of me now. We'll have it done. We'll have it done in the next 50 minutes. First act will be done. So then he asks you to like people to shout out different scenarios. So ours were someone shouted the Euros, someone shouted Covent Garden, Stonehenge, someone shouted politics, and the whole audience went oh like that. And then the last one was Ireland. So then he went, okay, so for Ireland, cheer, for Covent Garden, cheer, for Stonehenge, cheer, for the Euros, cheer, and whoever was loudest. And it came down to the Euros and Covent Garden. Covent Garden got the loudest cheer.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. But the guy at the front said Euros, and he had a big group with him, so they was doing really loud cheers, but pretty much everybody else did Covent Garden. I did the Euros. And then this woman on the edge in the wheelchair that kept shouting about her birthday, she was like, Ireland! Ireland! I think we should do Ireland! But it'd already been decided. So then he was like, all right, okay, why don't we do an Irish character in Covent Garden?
Was she Irish?
No, she just really wanted Ireland. He was like, right, okay, so I want 3 or 4 different musicals, and we're going to base each scene, so it's all improv, but each scene is going to be loosely based around those songs in that musical. Mm-hmm. So ours were Lion King, Chicago, and West Side Story.
Just 3?
Yeah, so 3. So we had to shout 3 out.
Okay.
So people were shouting them out, like putting their hands up and stuff. Like I put my hands up and I said 6. No, I didn't say it, but I was going to say 6, but it didn't come to me.
Of course he was.
Yeah. And then wait. So it started, and these 2 people came on stage, and there was just this one woman, and she started singing about being a flower seller in a market. And just started this song, and then how they was doing it, so she'd start singing, she'd just start randomly singing lyrics and be like, I'm a flower seller in a market, and I live on Covent Garden, and the cobbles are so grey, and the sky is so blue. And it's like how much she loved being this flower seller in the market. This was her entire life. And then she'd go, the flowers, the flowers, the flowers, and then everyone else would join in and go, the flowers. And every time they repeated a word, that's when they would all join in, because then that was their cue to be like, this is the rhythm that they're going with. And then one of them would start a move, and they'd all just kind of watch that person, and they'd come up with a whole routine, and it was so, so good. So it started with this scene, and basically the storyline was, she worked in this market, her boyfriend was from Ireland, and they was in love with each other. Kinky Boots, there was 4 plays. Yeah. So the other one was Kinky Boots. And then, so the guy pauses it, the one that's like on the mic that starts, and he's like, okay, so we've got 2 lovers here, and they're now going to sing a song in the theme of West Side Story. So they started then singing this love song, how he's so in love with her, and he's moved from Ireland to live in London with her. And then this whole play unravelled, but it was absolutely brilliant. And I won't tell you all of it now, because obviously it's long on the podcast, but it was so good, it was so funny. And there was this other guy, and he was her uncle, but he kept saying dad by accident. And then the other cast member kept saying dad by accident. And in the end, it was like a running joke of whether he was like an incest uncle or a dad. And then at one point, there was like, he was like trying to make the story of how he didn't want her to marry this Irish guy. But then nobody was really going along with it. And then they all started being like, why don't you want him to do that? And then there was this whole song about how he was racist and he doesn't like the Irish. So then this poor guy was having to think on his feet.
So do they make the songs up as well?
Everything, make the songs up
in
the theme of all these things. So then like one of the songs is in the theme of Chicago. So they do this, and all the men at the back like really kind of like clicking the fingers like this on the chairs. And then there was one with Kinky Boots, but the bigger guy, the one that kept getting it wrong, saying dad, he was like the lead dancer in Kinky Boots. And like he came out like these, and he's like, these boots are made for walking. Like it was really, really funny. Like, we should go again.
Did your mum enjoy it?
Yeah, it was fun, and it cheered her up as well because it was funny.
Good.
But it was really good, and there was a few things that got wrong.
Yeah.
And like one of them started singing the song, and he go, "Oh, got that wrong," and then like, yeah, it was all
that
improv.
makes it good when they say things like that.
And at one point they were sat there. My favourite line from the entire thing was the two guys, so the Irish guy and the bigger guy who was in the cast. The storyline then developed that they was best friends from Ireland when they was younger, and the reason the other guy was the uncle because he couldn't do the Irish accent and he kept coming out in this farmer accent. So the other guy was like, "You don't sound like you're from Ireland. You sound like you're from Daventry." And he's like, "I am not really from Ireland. I can't do a farmer accent." And he was like, basically, "I'm not really from Ireland. I'm just the uncle." And that's how that started because he couldn't do the accent, so he had to create his own storyline while they was doing one storyline. He had a separate storyline altogether, and then his storyline then developed to be that the reason that he doesn't like the Irish guy is because the girl's mum and he's the secret dad, and he's raised her as the uncle because the dad left her, and he didn't want her to know that he was his dad or something. It was like bizarre because he was coming up with that on the spot. But the mum was Irish, so she's half from Daventry and half Irish. But then she became famous, like in Kinky Boots, and she went off being this model in America, and the other guy was left behind with the friend from Ireland. So the storyline developed that those two friends were actually gay. And they've loved each other since they was kids. Right. So then it ended up being these two gay guys at the end of it. But it was really, really good. And they were sat there, and my favourite bit was like, remember that time when I fell over and I hurt my hand and he kissed my hand, and he was like, "Yeah, I remember that." And he's like, "The other time I fell over and you kissed my cheek." And he was like, "Yeah, I remember that." And he's like, "And the other time that I got stung by a bee and you kissed my knee." And he was like, "Yeah, I remember that." But he was like trying to come up on the spot. And then he was like, "Remember we said that thing?" And he was like, "Yeah, that thing." And he's like, "We always used to say it together." And he was like, "Yeah, we said it together." And he was like, "Don't mind the bees, and the bees will mind themselves." But he's like, "Don't mind." And the other guy said, "Don't mind the bees." And like trying to say it together, and the bees will mind themselves. But then they kept saying it all the way through. He's like, "Remember," and he'd go, "Don't mind the bees." And he goes, "And the bees will mind themselves." But it was just so random, but really, really funny.
You got to get a team that works and balances off each other.
There was one girl that didn't really. She just, her characters she kept bringing in just weren't really gelling. So there was all the way through. It was just like, she's irrelevant. She's irrelevant. And it was like, gosh, she says a lot, doesn't she? Because she'd come on and say something, and then they'd all awkwardly look at her like, "What do we do with that?" Like, you're trying to change your story.
I hate that. You've got to be so brave.
But then she, every single time she made it part of her character, and she'd go, "Okay, I'll leave now," and she'd come back up the stage again, because like, I don't know if that's her thing and she does it every time or something. Maybe. I don't know, but it was really good. Really did enjoy it.
Love that. Cool.
Yeah. So then Saturday, what did you get up to?
Well, so when we keep doing this every single podcast, can't talk. When we got there on the Friday, so I didn't even say, so we checked in and then we just went out exploring. But we went to the Sky Bar, which is like 27 levels up in the city, and that was really good. But it was so hot. It was like Mum had a bit of a funny turn. We had to move around a bit because it was just so hot. But then we went down to the 26th floor and we had dinner there. It was a bit cheeky really, because you do pay for the experience, because she paid €75, which is like a set price, and that's for us both to have a drink and our tapas meal. So we assumed that it would be like the tapas where you can like kind of pick some small plates. But so we went in and he was like, "No, you choose one main meal and one drink." But it wasn't a tapas. It was just like a light bite. So we literally chose like a pizza and then some croquettes. I had a glass of wine, she had a beer, so it should have come to about €50. But because you pay a set price, you pay €75. So I was like, it's a bit cheeky really, because you're just paying for like the ambience and the experience. But I was just like, I don't know if I'd recommend it there. But the Sky Bar, which was on the same level, so they had a rooftop bar at the top, and the Sky Bar on the 26th floor on the same level as that was really good there. That was kind of like more of a chilled vibe. They had like, all the artificial leaf walls and the LED. Yeah.
Where did we go that looked like that? We've been to one that's like that.
A Sky Bar?
Sky Bar. It was like that type of thing. I've got a feeling, was it like Budapest or...
Budapest.
I know I said it funny, didn't I? I realised as soon as it left my mouth.
Was it not Dubai or something?
Was it?
Maybe. We
did something like that somewhere, and there was a DJ there.
Oh. Can't remember.
And when we walked in...
Yeah, there's a DJ there as well.
Could have been Ibiza. When we walked in, you went past the bar and we sat there and the DJ was behind us where we were sitting. That was a Sky Bar.
We didn't leave there till 3. So we was up for 23 hours on that first night. In the hot. Yeah.
In the heat.
In the hot heat.
In the hot heat.
But so then that was basically it really. We just had a walk around and then went there for dinner and drinks and then came home. And then the next day we went on a tuk-tuk ride. I didn't feel too well in the afternoon, so I came home, had a nap. Mum listened to our episode 3 podcast, bless her, while I was waiting. And then we went to a flamenco show, which was an experience. It was so funny. I was actually laughing at first because it's so feisty. It's so serious. I kept thinking, because their faces are so feisty, I was literally thinking, this woman looks like she was literally just sat in a red ant's nest and she's trying to get them out of knickers because she was like stomping and flicking her dress around, and I couldn't take it serious. Like, I know it's obviously the tradition and the culture, but I was cracking up at some points. But that was really good. Then we went to a steakhouse. You'd have absolutely hated it, but it was amazing. Love that.
What did you have?
We had it like we shared a steak, and then we got some sides. We had some like garlicky chips, which were really good. Fries. And we went to that musicals bar as well.
Yeah,
Sapphira, I think it's called. If anyone's seen it on TikTok, they make these amazing musical themed cocktails, and oh my god, it was so good. I got Aladdin one, Mum got Frozen.
the Aladdin one
all
looked
sorts.
incredible.
They had like Mamma Mia, we had that one as well. Wicked, The Lion King, but like really extravagant. You should see all the props they have all behind the bar. So good. Yeah, and then we just went back after that because we needed to pack ready to go home the next day. But yeah, so on Saturday you had Harley's football tournament, was it?
Yeah, so we got up early on the Saturday morning. Now, obviously, on the Fridays when the key went missing, the house key. So, we turned this house upside down. It's got to be in this house. It is in this house somewhere. I don't know what's happened. We've got a ghost. We must have. Like, even my mum, like, I've been losing things all weekend, and every 2 minutes she's been saying to me, for God's sake, put it where it's supposed to go. And I'm like, yeah, it's because I have it in my hand and I put it down. I don't realise I put it down. Constantly looking for my key, constantly looking for my phone. Purse just didn't even happen. Bank card, kept tapping in. Now, this key, I purposely put it on the stairs next to the garage key because I knew I'd need it because I was going back out. But then when I was going out to swimming, I forgot to take it with me. I went out swimming, came home, banged on the door, even shouted to my mum beforehand, we're going out, listen out for the door because they was in the back garden. Came back and it was gone off the stairs. The key has gone. Like, even so much so that I said to Mum, are you sure you've not put it on your key thinking it's yours from home or you've just moved it like that? So she's like, don't blame me. And I was like, no, I'm not blaming you. I'm checking that you've not moved it. We couldn't find it. So we actually
checked pockets and
everything. I honestly have checked it. I went through all the washing. I went through all the washing pockets in case it had fallen into the washing basket. I went through everything I've worn. I checked the shoes in case I put it inside a shoe.
Literally, my dad texted me and was like, oh yeah, I've given my key to Levi, thinking, no way.
I told him not to tell you.
He told me.
Sneak.
He told me.
I literally said to him, don't tell Becky, I'll be in trouble.
Oh, maybe he didn't tell me then. No, he didn't tell me. You told me because you said, that's your dad's key.
Yeah.
So I voice noted him saying, sorry about that. I've been away for one weekend and she's already lost a key because he knows what you're like losing things as well.
I know. So he brought his key for me anyway, and I had every intention to go and copy it on the Saturday morning, but of course I forgot to do it. So then we went to the tournament, and it started. We had to be there for about 10 to 10, and it started at 10:30. So yeah, we started the tournament. They played the first game, I think, of the day. They opened. Got beat 3-0. Then they got beat 2-0. Then they got beat 1-0. Then it was 0-0. And then we was like, right, this is your turn now. It's going in a pattern. You're going to win 1-0. And with about 30 seconds of being on the pitch, it went 1-0 down. I think they lost 4-0.
But to be fair, that's progress. I mean, previously they've been down 10-0.
Yeah.
Like, even though they've lost, the goal difference is getting slightly
the goal
lower.
difference is getting lower, and also the 3 teams they play against. So the team from this area is the best team at their age.
Yeah.
So already there was a disadvantage against that team, and the 2 other teams that played are from out of area and they travelled in.
Yeah, they must have travelled that
both of those teams have been playing 7-a-side since they were 7.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's the under 9s.
Yeah.
And they've all been playing 7-a-side since under 7.
Oh, I didn't even know you could do that.
So one of them were basically a load of academy kids that they pulled together to make a team.
Wow.
Was the purple kits.
And then were they good?
Oh yeah. Really good. It wasn't fair. Like they shouldn't have entered a grassroots competition. They should have been said to them, you can't enter because it's not fair on the other teams. Like, they wiped the floor. Like they won all of their games and then went on to win the tournament. Wow. So some of the kids played really well. Some of them played the socks off. Our goalie, brilliant. She made some cracking little saves. Like we would have been a lot worse off had she not been in goal that day.
Yeah, because she's new this season, so hasn't she? So I think, like you say, it does make a difference because it could still be like 10-0 had it not been from her. So she played really, really well. There was a couple of other kids that played all right. A couple of kids that just didn't shine. Like normal kids on the team that are like the top goal scorers, the ones that have improved the most over the year, the ones that you'd expect, the kids that you go, oh, they're obviously going to play well. Didn't. Yeah. Well, we're actually thinking of moving the girls, aren't we?
Well, we are moving them.
Yeah, they're changing it, so they're only taking 12 on to next season. But Mila's only just started, so they don't have space for it. And obviously, logistic-wise, that is probably not going to work for us, having all 3 girls in different teams. So we're going to trial a different team tonight. They're both really excited about it.
Yeah,
and they'll be in the same club, but under 9s, under 10s, hopefully.
Yeah, so the team that they're going to tonight is the team from around here that's very good.
Yeah.
So it's the team that's the top of the league at the under 9 age level. Now Mila currently trains a year up, so she trains with the under 9s, but she should be on an under 8s team. But the current team don't have an under 8s team, and that's the problem.
But I am excited. I'm actually excited to watch them tonight and see what the difference is between like the coaching and the training dynamics, the team dynamics, like just to see what the difference is, because it does make you think how are they the best in the league? Do you know what I mean? Like what is different about it? So it would be good to see.
Both girls get to train together, but they'll just play different matches because we'll be on different teams. But training time the same, so that works well in our favour.
And I think Mila needs a year of just being on 5-a-side. I think she'll just be a deer in headlights better if she goes straight into 7-a-side. Obviously Harley's had that whole year to train, but she's well up for it, isn't she? She has had to choose between acro and football, and she's chose football, which I am so shocked about. So we're going to see if hopefully we can find somewhere else for her to still do acro, because she's worked so hard over the past however long, 3 years. It would be a shame
5
for her
years.
To give up.
She started gymnastics when she was 3.
Yeah, true.
So she was doing gymnastics at age 3. She got picked for the developmental squad in gymnastics as well for like 5 hours a week. We then moved to a different gym. We moved slightly out of area, so she went to a different gym and she joined their cheerleading team and did gymnastics there. Yeah. And then we moved house and we moved here.
That's what I mean. That's why I wanted to keep at least, because we spend a lot of time and money doing that.
Yeah, because we came here, she's been on 2 seasons of cheerleading, one on one team, one on another, plus acro alongside it, so always working on the gymnastic side of skills.
I don't think she realises, though, that if she quits, then all of those skills will stop. I don't think she understands that. Whereas, Anyway, and then Sunday, you went to go see Inside Out 2, didn't you? Was that good?
Yeah, we did. So that was after the tournament. So Harley had a face on her because they got beat, and she couldn't cope with being beat. She was just running around like a headless chicken because she doesn't like it when the defenders don't do their job, so she tries to do everybody else's job and then sulks about it when she can't do everything at once. So that was a little bit chaotic, and it was hot in the afternoon as well, very hot. So I think she also ended up with a little bit of heat exhaustion.
Right.
Which obviously isn't nice for anybody.
She catches the sun so quickly, doesn't she?
Yeah, really bad. I had to run on the pitch and put cream on her. So after that, I was like, what can we do that's going to get them out of the sun? So we went to see Inside Out 2 in the cinema with my mum. And they was all really good girls. It was really good. They sat nicely. They watched the film. They was messing with the sweets a bit, like trying to eat way too many sweets when they had treats all day and probably going to make themselves vom. But nothing major. And then Saturday night, they came back. We did dinner, baths, bed. Nice, calm evening.
Dinner, bath, bit. Dinner, bath, bit.
Why'd you say it like that?
That sounded like you were saying a song then.
Dinner, bath, bit.
Dinner, bath, bit.
Yeah, it was nice. And then me and my mum watched some documentary about gorillas and both fell asleep watching it. I was like, do you like stuff like this? And she's like, yeah, I love stuff like this. And like they're filming gorillas and it's like telling them the stories of the gorillas. And
what, like David Attenborough?
Yeah, but it wasn't David Attenborough one. It was like it was on Netflix, and it was like these gorillas that live in this little group, and the chief was getting too old, but he had a bodyguard, and then these other ones were coming in from the outside, and they were trying to take over his group, and like
what a sad
monkey drama.
Oh,
I know.
Funny.
And then we both fell asleep watching it because it was boring. But
yeah, I love that.
What about Sunday?
Nice weekend though, yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was a really nice weekend. It was nice to have my mum here. It was nice for the girls to spend more time with my mum. And she cut the lawn, so I can't complain about that. Amazing. And she was on top of the washing and the washing up. She will not use a dishwasher. She won't do it.
She won't,
no, she just hand washes them all. And I've got a dishwasher right there.
Yeah, but then it will just stay on the side for another 2 weeks.
I know. Can't put them away. Bless her. What about Sunday then? How was your journey home?
Yeah, we was delayed for an hour in the airport, which was a bit more. But it was fine. But annoyingly, I finished my book literally as we was taking off, so I had nothing to do for the whole 2 hours off the plane. So we got a beer. But then I was just ready to come home by the end of it. We was both quite tired. And then we literally came home. Lance picked us up from the airport, and then we got home in time for the Euros match. I think it was Hungary and Scotland. And then I caught up with Love Island again. Then I caught up with Love Island in bed.
When you do that noise, it sounds like, when you go underwater and you go bubble, bubble, it sounds
Yeah.
like you're doing that.
I talk too quickly. I think that's what it is. My tongue can't catch up with my mouth.
Well, like yesterday when you was talking and you was getting
that
spit
was
stuck
weird.
to your teeth,
That
it was
was
disgusting.
so weird.
It's the worst thing that's ever happened.
Oh my god, I don't know what that was about. So,
you got any funny stories from the weekend?
my mum laughs at me so much when I'm just crack a little joke. Oh yeah, I've got a funny story actually. Okay, so so I taught my mum what a camel toe is.
Okay.
She was like, "What's a camel toe?" And I showed her pictures of. I think you can probably know who I'm talking about. Who always has a camel toe. I'll show you some pictures. And I zoomed in on her camel toe. Mum was like, "Why is it called a camel toe?" So then I showed her a picture of like a camel's toe, and she was like, "Oh, I see it now. Get it now." The next day when we was out shopping, she went, "Oh look, there's that lady, Pigfoot."
Pigfoot.
And I went, "Pigfoot?" She went, "Yeah, what's it called?" I went, "Camel toe." And we burst out laughing because bless her, she thought she was like in with the camel toe crew. She was like, "Oh, there she is. Look, what's it called? Pigfoot." And I was like, oh, I could not stop laughing. I was like, "Mum, it's not Pigfoot, it's camel toe."
That is so funny.
But that night at the Sky Bar, we stayed till 3. That was a really nice night because we just kind of chatted and laughing. And
Is that when you did a runner?
Yeah, that's when we did a runner. Well, I don't know if we did a runner or whether we did a runner. So we're at Madrid. In Madrid in this bar, every time you could order a drink, they came over with the card machine, so you had to pay there and then. But because we'd had so many rounds, we'd lost count of what we paid for and what we not. So I don't know whether on our last drink he actually came over and we'd already paid him, or he forgot and he was just taking so long to come over and pay. Either way, we thought it'd be really funny and sneaky to just sneak out on the 27th floor. But we thought we can't go in the elevator because that goes round past the bar, so let's sneak out the fire exit. And then we couldn't find the elevator because it was a different exit, so we was going down these 27 flights of stairs, and then I was like, "This
was
isn't
it on the
work.
outside of the building?
No, inside. It's a hotel.
Okay. I imagine, like, do you know, like New York, and you see those things on the outside of the building, like running around the outside of the building? Yeah, because
like
like
helter skelter on the side.
Yeah. In my head, when you said it, I was like, "Oh, we've gone like round the outside of the building."
Music.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like that.
No, it was inside, but so it was just running around this hotel, like, because it was quite posh, like getting the view. And we got to floor 24 and was like, let's just raid the corridor and find an elevator.
Raid the corridor.
And then we did. We found it, and then we went down 24 step flights. And next thing, Mum was like, "Becky, that was dangerous, you know. We shouldn't have been on those marble stairs. Could you imagine if one of us slipped down?" It's like, "Yeah, but he didn't know." "Yeah, but did he die?"
Yeah, but did you die?
Did he die?
Oh, it sounds like you had a good time together.
Yeah, it was nice. It was needed. I felt refreshed after it, which was good, which was the main outcome. So yeah, it was good.
Oh, good. Meanwhile, I had Halia here with her attitude problem.
She's definitely hormonal as hell.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with her. We won't get into it, but yeah, she was nothing major, just attitude and argumentative and backchatting, just not like her. Like usually she's very like black and white, there's a rule or there's not a rule, and she'll stick to that because she likes the comfort of rules, where these arguments against arguments. And I was thinking,
I've noticed it since I've been back actually. It's all the, well, I want to, or I don't want to, or because I did. Yeah. Like quite a bit like sassy, you know, but she is nearly 9, so
yeah. I get it. Like, don't get me wrong, she's a kid. That kid's backchat, but that's just not her.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's from the kids at school, to be honest.
Yeah,
because otherwise, where has she got it from? Who she got it from?
The sisters don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I put up with that all weekend. But the other two, good as gold, really good girls.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, really, really good. And then we've had little Lenny starting new school today.
I know. She was a bit wobbly this morning, wasn't she? So
a bit.
Well, 45 minutes to go and get her. So I don't know. I reckon she's had a good day.
Yeah, we've not had a phone call.
Yeah.
Because we did say we'll trial her on a full day and then see on a new day. We'll trial her on a full day and see how she gets on by lunchtime, and any problems go and get her. And no one's rang us.
Yeah.
So she must be okay. I think she'll be really quiet this week.
Yeah,
I think she'll be good as gold, little angel, really quiet because she's scared.
Settling in, yeah.
And then she'll watch other children's behaviour, see what she can get away with, and then we'll start getting her behaviour in school. Anything else you want to talk about?
Well, should we go on to our like mum moment kind of things? Have you got mum moment?
I have, but I've also got quite a lot of other things to talk about.
Have you?
I've got a whole list.
We're already an hour in.
It's alright, we can edit it. Or we'll just split it into 2 podcasts.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, so this is part 1 of the Two Mums
there's the
podcast
door.
this week, and we will be back with part 2 shortly. Bye!